Let's begin today's Vanguard news with just 4 cards for DZBT10, since it releases in Japan next Friday. And for those who missed previous reveals, and expecting some generic triple rare cycle cards, you can have a sigh of relief as this set seems to primarily support older decks. Stepping up together Lactine while on rear guard becomes in friend state if you have another unit in the same column as her, and that unit also becomes in friend state. And while on rear guard, you can return her to your hand when the attack the rear guard she boosted hits, while you have 3 or more units in friend state. Last I check, Forsha wants 5 or more friends and this card ironically ruins that condition. If you use her before Forsha, the only one stepping back to your hand is her, and stepping all over the friends she made along the way. Actable Crescent Shell Nourish while on rear guard becomes in friend state if you have another unit in the same column as her, and that unit also becomes in friend state. Then all units in the same column as her get 5k power if you have 5 or more other units in friend state. And when she's placed on rear guard, that isn't on the battle phase, you can pay 1 counter blast if you have a Vanguard with the friend ability to add up to 1 card with the friend ability with a different name than her, and a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard from the top 5 cards of your deck. You call it instead if that card does not have the friend ability. It's funny when you realize that Nanoclear kind of stole Forsha's mechanic of needing certain types of units to be on rear guard just to use their ability. Such poetic justice. And just so Forsha doesn't become irrelevant by the new weed waifu, they gave her Melty's replacement. Magnetic Force Monster Magnites when placed on rear guard. That isn't by unit card's ability lets you pay 1 Soul Blast if you played a set order this turn to either call up to 1 card with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard from the top 5 cards of your deck. Add it to your hand instead if the card is a set order. And while on rear guard, it gets 5k power when it attacks a grade 3 or higher unit and your order zone has a set order. It gets 10k power instead if you have a monster Vanguard. Let's be real, the only reason Eledglema is even being played is because it makes the quote-unquote pro players feel like they are playing a deck that requires skill due to the dopamine hits they get when Maue Flash rewards their gambling addiction. Giving the deck a new searcher that's also a beat stick won't suddenly turn the deck back into being quote-unquote skillful. Finally, Vital Heyday gets all of its effects if you have System Codex Seed in your order zone. When placed on rear guard, you can pay 2 Soul Blast if you have 2 or more auto-mod gauges to draw a card. And while on rear guard, you can pay 1 counter blast at the end of the battle it attacked a grade 3 or higher unit while not boosted, and it was the first battle of that turn to stand itself. Screw the draw effect despite being good, the only thing that matters is that Impauldio finally has a way to do 4 attacks. That's the only thing players need to know. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you're glad that you didn't need to buy a split of this set due to the lack of cycle cards.